As you guys can see up on the screen today, I want to talk a little bit about Costco Wholesale Corporation. This is ticker symbol COST or COST. And a lot of people have been talking about this stock recently because it's been running really, really hot. It's up 3.7% over the past month, almost 37% over the past 6 months, 38% year to date, and almost 41% over the past year. Costco has just been going absolutely crazy. It has been just a very, very good play, a really, really hot stock. Also a high quality, not only safe, consistent stock, but also a pretty intriguing growth stock as well, which has just consistently been putting up big numbers, better numbers, consistent gains, consistent returns. And it's getting people talking a ton. So I think it's worth diving into further, but also the fact that they had their quarter one earnings call today, which is always going to be really, really interesting to dive into. They're heading into the quarter one earnings. There were some concerns, obviously, about, supply chain restraints and issues that are going on there, how much that was going to impact this company. Also, just understanding with how hot this company has ran recently, that there is a lot of growth, a lot of expectations, a lot of, future stuff priced into it. So they need things to go well. They don't just need the earnings reports to be good. They really need them to be great if we want to see continual, share price appreciation from this point. Now, obviously, it coming down a little bit might not be the worst thing in the world. It might give us better opportunities to buy in. It might just even make it a more fair or accurate valuation for the company overall. But if things disappoint on this earnings report, if things look bad, if things look a little iffy, if things look a little shaky, then that could be really, really bad for a company like Costco, again, that has been running so hot recently, starting to trade at kind of crazier and higher multiples and everything like that. Right now, we have the PE ratio at 46.52. I believe if we go to the statistics, I think we can actually see, based on, some of the past numbers, we had a trailing PE of 47, a forward PE of 44. So, this definitely has not been a cheap stock or anything like that. So that is definitely something to keep in mind, that people are definitely expecting, further growth in terms of revenue, profits, everything like that for Costco. So this was going to be a very, very important earnings report, and this was something that people were watching very, very closely. Obviously, the market wasn't really sure what to expect, overall down 1% on the day because people were really, really worried. And then as soon as the market closed, this thing kind of shot down. But after this earning report came out, things really went well for Costco. They were up 1% after hours, and at a certain time, they even made it back to like positive on the day. But from where we were at close, this thing was up almost 2% after hours. So obviously, whatever was in this earnings report must not have scared the market too much. And now we might see some money piling back into Costco because, there's not really this earnings report that people are scared about anymore. People had a lot of fears of what these numbers were going to look like. How bad was it going to be? What was even going to be on there? Just the uncertainty. There wasn't a lot of positive sentiment heading into this earnings overall. Costco is still trading, a little bit off its 52-week highs. Obviously, that being right around $560. So again, people weren't expecting, to be going to all-time highs or like a blowout earnings report or anything like that. So to actually dive into some of the numbers, here we have from investors.com some of the numbers that did come out. Costco earned $2.98 per share, well above the FactSet estimates for $2.67 per share. So that's awesome. That's definitely a check mark there, beating on the EPS. They also have total revenue of $50.4 billion, which cleared estimates for $50.2 billion. So, not a massive beat there. But again, not being at expectations and most importantly, not being below expectations. They were above their expectations in terms of overall total revenue, which is awesome. And then something that I think is really, really cool here is the company's same store sales rose 15%. Obviously that is when you're comparing the same stores as previously to those exact same stores, because when you just take a look at stores in general, every once in a while you're opening new stores, you're closing stores, different areas become hot or not or whatever, for whatever reason, there's a million different factors at play. But when you're just looking at the same store, what did this store do last year? What did it do this year? Comparing, the same market, the same people, all that stuff. It's not all the variables out of play, but it definitely takes some of the variables out of play. It's in some ways a better number to look at. I think you need to look at everything. You need to get the full picture, the full context, but it's definitely a very, very interesting number. And the fact that same store sales are still increasing and are still beating expectations 15% is a pretty decent beat over 13. And that is great. That is still showing that the growth potential is there for Costco. Not only just growing in terms of building new stores and the costs and risks and everything that comes along with that, but even in their own stores that they already have, they can still grow numbers. They can still grow revenue. They can still grow sales. They can still grow profit. They can still grow memberships. That's a great sign. Costco's not slowing down. This isn't anything to be afraid of. This is one of the biggest and best companies in the world right now that's been running insanely hot, and things are still running hot now. And it really gives me no reason to expect that, things aren't going to keep trending in the right direction for Costco. Costco stock rose 1.4% after hours. Obviously, people were pretty excited with the news. Oppenheimer analyst in a research note this week said that as we look at cost prospects over the next 12 to 18 months, we believe that the relative valuation could be stretched on a shorter term basis, due in part to meaningful investor rotation into higher quality names lately, which is, again, that's a good sign for cost. We're seeing a lot of money piling into the high quality big name stocks, like they say. There's a lot of money going into Apple right now, Microsoft, Google, some of these really, really big, massive companies, Tesla, all at all-time highs or pretty damn near it. They're really carrying the overall market right now. They're carrying a lot of indexes and all that stuff. And Costco's not in that group. They're not Apple. They're not Google. But they're up there. They're a $250 or $260 or $270 billion company. And again, a company that's growing, a company that's strong, a company that's relatively safe and low risk, even though we're getting to a little bit crazy, valuations based on some metrics and stuff. Still, I think this was very, very great news for cost overall. We also have this, that Costco warns of holiday delays, even as results top estimates. Membership-only retail chain Costco beat Wall Street estimates for quarterly results on Thursday, even as it warned of delays in toys and seasonal items over the holiday season due to a global supply chain crunch. Congested ports, shortage of truck drivers, and scarcity of raw materials have made it harder for retailers to put products on the shelves in time for the all-important shopping season. So again, that is something where ultimately the stock market's going to be forward-looking. Yes, you have history to kind of base stuff off of, but if Costco is saying, hey, the holiday season might not be that great for us, that could scare investors now going into the future. Now there's going to be some people who want to see that next earnings report. They want to see just how bad this holiday season is for them, because especially when you're talking about retailers, historically, Q4 is a very, very big time. The holiday season is a very, very big time. So if Costco isn't able to take full advantage of one of their biggest periods of time and one of their biggest months of the year, in December, that could scare some people, that could worry some people. It could mean that this next earnings report might not be exactly what people expect. But again, when I'm looking at Costco as a long-term investment, I'm talking 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the future, I don't really care that much about supply chain constraints in 2021, because again, I think by 2026, 2031, those issues are obviously going to be straightened out. And I think, if you do kind of sell off on Costco in the short term because of something like that, one, I think that's really silly. But then two, also, I think if the share price drives down at all for something that's not going to be a long-term issue for the company, then that's just, my opportunity to scoop those shares up for a lot cheaper. So overall, I think there was a lot of great news coming out for Costco today. Yes, some bad news. Maybe the holiday season is going to be a little bit down. Maybe they will have some struggles. Maybe they're a little bit overvalued. Maybe they're a little bit overstretched right now. But still, an awesome, strong company that continues to grow, continues to beat estimates, continues to put up awesome numbers. And I really think they're going to continue to do so going forward in the future. And that's why I think Costco is one of just the best companies and best investments on the market right now. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Tell me, drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Cost stock. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.